welcome back to another video. My name is Abby, and today we're talking about how to remove negative assumptions and shift your life. Now, before I start, I do have an announcement to make. I have recently changed the way I am taking payment, and that is basically donation based. If you go to the link below, which is in the description box, click that, you will see a calendar. You'll also see that it's donation based. There is a minimum payment, but beyond that, you can either pay the minimum payment if that's all you can afford right now, which is totally good, or if you felt led to leave more, you can do so in the tip option. If you've been interested in working one-on-one with me, it is a great time to do so, to give you more support, to help you remove limiting beliefs and shift your perspective so you can start manifesting that which you want. So back to the video. How do you remove negative assumptions and therefore ultimately shift your life? But first, let's look and understand what an assumption is. This is according to Neville Goddard, whose whole thing is the law of assumption, meaning that anything that we give permission and consent to be true about our life, it's true. Now realize, it's really, really important that you realize that this is subjectively true, not objectively true, meaning it's true because you put your faith and power into it being true. You will literally look through the filters into your life to prove, it's called confirmation bias, to prove that, look, see, I knew that was true. There it is, I found it. Your unconscious brain gets between 40 to 50 million bits of information every second, and your conscious brain is basically only able to take in about 40 bits of information. I say this number a lot in my videos. This is from Dr. Bruce Lipton, because it's so powerful. Okay, so for instance, if you have assumptions about amount of money that you can have, right? So say you assume that you are only worth $40,000 a year. Any opportunity, anything else that would show you that you could make more than that, in that 40 to 50 million bits, say there's 20 million things that you could pick up in your outside world right now. But since your assumption is that you're only worth $40,000 or less, you will look for those bits of information and process through them to collect the 40 bits of the thing they're looking to prove. So there is so much stuff out in your world right now. That's why also too, when it comes to manifestation, it's not about you making an opportunity about yourself. All it is about you being aware, being able to perceive of the opportunities that already exist. Dr. Joe Dispenza says every possible version of you, every possible version of you that makes the amount of money, right? From doesn't have any money to has millions of dollars. The version of you that doesn't have somebody and who has the perfect partner. The version of you on and on and on. Perfect house, all the stuff, right? All those little tiny changes along those versions, they all exist already. The only thing standing in your way right now is what you're giving permission and consent to be true. That's why it is so powerful that if you have a negative assumption, and another word for that would be to say that if you have an assumption that isn't in alignment with the version of you that you want to experience. So for instance, maybe you have an assumption that you don't make more than $60,000, which is great, right? You can pay your bills, you can afford different things, different trips maybe, all these things. But you want to have $1 million a year. You want to be able to have a boat or whatever it is that you desire. Well, the $60,000 you, it's not negative that you have those assumptions. However, those assumptions don't align with the you that makes $1 million a year. So starting to understand, for one, it's not right or wrong that you have this assumption. There's a reason you have this assumption. We're going to get into that in just a moment, which is going to help you understand how to remove it. But the more the title of this video is a little bit misleading because there really are no negative assumptions. This assumption might not be taking you to the desired reality, to the desired experience that you're wanting to have. If that's the case, well, all you need to do is shift it. So basically, we know an assumption is what you give permission and consent to be true. Again, it doesn't make it true, but you are putting your power into it. So you've given permission and consent for whatever it is that is happening in your external life right now to be true for you. The other thing to point out here is that manifestation is only revealing that which is unseen to the eye, meaning what it is you believe. And again, this is fortified by your assumptions. So realize that manifesting isn't something new you'll start doing. Your current life is a manifestation. It is a revelation. It is revealing what you believe to be true, what you accept to be true, and what you look for in the world, because you will find what is in your mind always. So those fears, those doubts, those insecurities. However, on the flip side, that value, that worth, whatever it is you're looking for, you're going to find, because of how our brain works. We have our RAS, our reticular activating system, and you've experienced this most likely if you've gone out in the world and maybe you're looking for a new car, and then that car is everywhere. Cars behind you, cars by the side of you, what's going on, or you're going to go on a trip and all of a sudden everyone's talking about this place. Maybe it's a new restaurant and you start hearing about it everywhere. You start seeing different, maybe on your phone or something outside of you, right? You see it everywhere because your brain, you told your brain, hey, look, this is important now. And it's like, what? Okay, I'm going to look and see if I can find that and where I can find it. It's going to allow it to come up because it's important. So the same thing is happening with these assumptions, with these beliefs, with these things that you are allowing to be true. You're saying yes, you're saying no. So remember, you are in the powerful position of giving it that approval of powerful or not powerful, of true or not true for you. So where do assumptions come from? They come from our beliefs, and a belief is something we accept to be true. Most of our beliefs were formed when we were a kid, and potentially even when we were still in our biological mothers. They can be genetically passed down. That has to do with epigenetics. And also too, what you learned, what people taught you, your basic caregivers, what you were told to be true, what you watched and experienced. Maybe it was about relationships, how your primary caregivers reacted to different situations. You could have also been told different things. You could have also just seen a situation, took an interpretation from it, even though you were a child, and then you gave it a meaning. A lot of these times you give a meaning about yourself. So if someone was rude to you, someone was mean to you, or there wasn't enough money, you gave a meaning about yourself. You gave a value about yourself in that situation. Unless you've gone back and looked at that with your adult brain, you're still living off those same beliefs. Those beliefs are basically these assumptions. So if you have a belief right now that you're not worthy, that you're not whole and complete, well, because manifestation is simply revealing what you are and who you think you are to yourself, you're assuming that you're not whole and complete unless you have a relationship. So what you're sending out is, I am not whole and complete. So what's reflected back is, you're not whole and complete. So you can't have that relationship where you feel connected and it feels good, because it is reflecting back to you that lack in which you feel. Not because it's true, but because that comes from a past experience, a past interaction, and a meaning you've given about yourself. Not good enough. Maybe the people you love are going to abandon you. There's so many different things that can happen. Also too, if it's about money, maybe you grew up and you saw your parents struggle, or people around you struggle, and you didn't quite have enough to pay for different things or get different things. You could take a meaning that you don't deserve money, that money always eludes you. So you're an adult and you're going through life, you're trying hard with your conscious brain to make it work, but nothing seems to register or to work, and you kind of always seem to get back where you started, no matter how hard you are working. This has to do with beliefs, because literally the subconscious is just like a thermostat. It has this zone of comfort, this zone of safety, and your body literally could feel unsafe when it starts getting out of the things that you haven't experienced. You have to be aware that you're going through this, so when your body starts having that stress response, you start moving into new assumptions. You can say, hey, this is actually safe. We've never been here, but this is who we really are. We are valuable. We are worthy. We are moving into a new state of being, new thoughts, new feelings in the body. So realize too that as you start to remove and upgrade really to these new assumptions that better align with the version you want to experience, realize there could be some discomfort. It might feel scary. You're not in danger. Get something, a mantra or a breathing technique that can help settle your body to let you know that you're not in danger. You are safe. The more you can do that, the more it feels natural inside your body. The more you believe it to be true, you're re-reasoning on the thing that originally constructed this assumption, this belief, right? Maybe one time somebody told you you weren't very creative or you weren't worth this certain toy, right? We can say, oh, that person was actually struggling with money. I was a kid. I wanted what I wanted, and I was right in that, and that's good. And I am valuable, and I do deserve what I want. So reasoning on that with your adult brain, seeing what happened originally, giving it a new meaning about you and about what was really happening, starting to breed new beliefs, which are going to be fortified by new assumptions. So the more and more you do this, and the more you allow those old beliefs to dissolve, those old assumptions will fall away, and you can start building up the beliefs that are in alignment with that in version of you. Neville Goddard, live in the end. Think about that version of you, for instance, that has a secure relationship, that has $1 million a year. What beliefs would they have about themselves? What assumptions would fortify those beliefs? The more you start thinking that way, dissolving anything that goes against that, the more you'll start living in the end right now, thinking those thoughts, having those feelings in your body, and that will then be reflected in your outside world. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, give that little thumbs up a click. If you haven't done so already, join this community by hitting subscribe. We'd love to have you. I love you all, and I'll see you on the next one.